In the past, teachers argued about whether or not a certain psalm should even be written down. This song doesn't ask for help in the dark. Instead, it tells the dark to serve the light. They said in the Talmud, "He who recites this without proper preparation may open doors that should remain closed." This is a very dangerous psalm to use if you are not trained. This is Psalm 91, also known as the Psalm of Shadows, and tonight, you'll find out why it scared the most holy men in Israel. David, the Night King, saw too much. Ancient Kabbalistic texts say that King David wrote Psalm 91 after having a scary experience in the valley of the shadow of death. He wasn't using a figure of speech. David had been chasing his enemies into a place where the line between the physical and spiritual worlds became blurry. Angels and devils both felt safe there. David saw something that would change the way he thought about reality forever, while he was stuck in a cave as night fell. He saw the Shedim, which are dark beings that live between spirit and matter. He saw how these things fed on people's fear, getting stronger with every beating of fear. David had a realization in that terrifying moment. Darkness only has power when we give it power through fear. The song he wrote that night wasn't a prayer. It was a set of instructions. Every verse is like a binding formula that makes the dark forces serve instead of harm. The Hebrew words aren't just beautiful poetry. They're exact spells that change the spiritual atmosphere around the speaker. What the rabbis did to keep it secret. The men of the Great Assembly talked about Psalm 91 for days when they were putting together the Book of Psalms. Some people said it should be taken away completely. Others said it had to stay, but with strong warnings. The middle ground, in an effort to lessen its strength, they surrounded it with psalms of prayer and humility. Rabbi Yochanan said that people who have fully overcome their fears should be the only ones who can say Psalm 91. Why? Because the psalm works by calling up the evil it says it wants to get rid of. What you say, like the terror of night, or the arrow that flies by day, brings these forces into your awareness. If you say the psalm while feeling afraid, you make the fear stronger. Even scarier is what the Zohar says. Psalm 91 doesn't just keep you safe from evil, it gives you power over it. "You will tread upon the lion and the cobra" is not a figure of speech. It talks about having real power over evil psychic forces. The teachers were scared of this kind of power because people, even good people, can be corrupted by having control over darkness. How divine command works in secret. In its original Hebrew form, Psalm 91 has exactly 11 lines. In Kabbalistic numerology, 11 is the number of sin and chaos. The psalm works by going into the frequency of chaos and then bringing divine order to it from the inside. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty, sets the tone for total power. Notice the contradiction between shelter and shadow, protection and darkness. The psalmist says that the deepest shadows are where the most powerful divine safety can be found. A lot of prayers ask God to get rid of the darkness. This one teaches you to live inside it without being touched. In the middle verses, very specific threats are listed. The fowler's snare, deadly pestilence, fear of night, arrow by day, plague at night, destruction at noon. Fears like these aren't made up. Each phrase is linked to a specific type of psychic attack. The fowler's snare is a set-in trap set by demons. Arrow by day talks about psychic strikes from people who are meant to hurt you. The plague in darkness refers to curses that are passed down from generation to generation. But here's the scary part. Giving something a name gives it shape. When you say these dangers out loud, they will temporarily pay attention to you. This is why you have to talk from a place of absolute spiritual authority. Otherwise, the psalm will go horribly wrong. You're not asking for protection. You're telling the forces of evil to bow down to the holy power that is working through you. The 4 divine names that are hidden. There are 4 different names of God in Psalm 91. Each one gives you a different kind of safety. The wise men taught that reciting a name along with a verse changes it from a prayer to a blessing. Elyon, Most High, and Shaddai, Almighty, are the first words of the psalm. These are names that mean supernatural and power over nature. You're not asking for safety within the rules of reality. You're telling them to be broken. Later lines talk about the Tetragrammaton, which is an unknowable name for God. When you think of this name and say verse 11, He will command His angels concerning you, you're not hoping that angels will help. You are giving direct orders to the angelic world by using divine power that has been given to you. In the last lines, the name Adonai, which means divine kingship and judgment, is used. This part of the psalm moves from defense to attack. You will tread upon the lion and the cobra doesn't mean to stay away from danger. It means to control it. The psalm gives you power over the very things that were threatening you. When the psalm faults you. The Talmud has stories about how people abused power. One scholar repeated Psalm 91 every day with perfect pronunciation, but inside they were angry. He wasn't safe. Instead, the psalm made all his problems worse. His house was broken into many times. There were more accidents. His kids got sick. The elders saw that the psalm was doing exactly what it was supposed to do, but backwards. Because he said it with bad motives, he told evil forces to attack himself. The power of the psalm is neutral. It enhances the speaker's awareness. In a different story, a woman said Psalm 91 over her sick child. The child suddenly got better, but she started having nightmares about shadow figures sitting next to her bed. A teacher told her that she had opened spiritual doors but didn't know how to close them. Even though she was healed, she left herself open to the realm she had entered. The get ready they asked for. In ancient times, people had to fast for 3 days to clear their minds, immerse themselves in the mikveh to ensure they were ritually pure, and study the psalm's inner meanings for a long time before they could recite it all. A teacher would not allow a student to speak the psalm without first learning the right names for the gods and being fully aware of its binding power. The secret they were most afraid of? What really scared the elders was that when Psalm 91 is used correctly, it protects the speaker from harm. Not just safe, but invincible. It said, 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. This means that you live in a world where destruction happens around you, but can't reach you. This defense isn't for normal awareness. It's for people who are fighting spiritual battles against forces and powers, and whose whole lives have been given over to serving God. Giving someone who isn't ready this power is like giving a child the codes to launch a nuclear warhead. We'll show you how to use it safely and what happens if you don't tomorrow.
The rabbi gave the young student a paper copy of Psalm 91. His hands were shaking. He said quietly, "You're done with the preparations, but know this. You can never go back to ignorance after saying these words with full awareness. You'll see things that other people can't. You'll know things that no one else does, and you will have to deal with a duty that most guys would see as a curse." The student just nodded, not knowing that something big was about to happen in his life. The next 3 days, he would live through an accident that should have killed him and start seeing shadowy images everywhere. Now you're ready to learn the real rules, the safety measures that the wise people put in place around this dangerous psalm, and how to control darkness without being destroyed by it. The cleansing for 3 days. You shouldn't take Psalm 91 lightly. The first requirement is a 3-day time of purification that gets your mind ready to deal with the forces you're about to face. It's not a religious rite, it's spiritual technology that's making the right space for power. The first day is all about fasting and being quiet. From dawn until dusk, you should only drink water. Do not speak unless you have to. The fasting weakens the ego's control over awareness, and being quiet clears the mind of the noise that evil spirits use to find people. The Kabbalists knew that lower spiritual beings eat up people's talk, worry, and constant thought chatter. They go hungry in silence. On day 2, you do a lot of self-examination. Take out a piece of paper and write down all the people you haven't forgiven, including yourself, that you are angry with. If your heart is still split, the psalm can't protect you. Remember the scholar whose speech went wrong because he was angry inside? When you don't deal with your anger, it makes your spiritual armor weak. The troops you are about to lead will take advantage of any weakness. Do a burning rite after you're done writing. Take the paper outside to a safe place and burn it all up while saying, "I let go of all the darkness inside me. I forgive everyone who has hurt me. I forgive myself for everything I've done wrong. I am clean as I stand in front of the light." Keep an eye out until there are only ashes left. This isn't a metaphor. You're actually cutting energetic ties that connect you to lower levels. On the 3rd day, you have to immerse yourself in a mikvah, or, if you can't find one, in a symbolic bath. Picture every impurity, every connection to darkness, and every fear being washed away as you go underwater. Come out as a new person, ready to lead instead of beg, to speak with confidence instead of hope. The holy hour, when the gates open wide. Timing affects how well something works. The wise people knew exactly what times the veil between worlds gets thin, which makes the psalm even more powerful. When divine justice gives way to mercy, when God himself mourns the destruction of the temple, the most powerful time is just after midnight. This hour is called chasut in Jewish mysticism. Most people are asleep at this time, and the noise of human awareness has died down. This is the best time to be spiritually open. Reading the psalm at midnight does more than just keep you safe. It changes your whole spiritual world. When God's attention is most focused on the earthly realm, you're working with the structure of creation itself. The second most important time is the hour before dawn, which is known as Ashmad HaBoka, or the morning watch. This hour has the energy of change from darkness to light, which makes it perfect for telling shadows to do good things. A lot of people who practice say that saying Psalm 91 at this time protects them for weeks. The visualization that makes authority work. Saying the words don't do much on their own. When you read the psalm, you need to have a clear picture in your mind of what it means. As you say the first line, "He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High," picture yourself standing under a canopy of bright white light that is so strong that it can't hold any shadows. When you read verse 2, "I will say of the Lord, He is my shelter and my fortress," picture walls of clear light that nothing can get through. These are real walls, not metaphors. Focused awareness and divine authority are helping you build real energetic barriers in the spiritual realm. He will deliver you from the fowler's snare. In verse 3, picture any trap, scheme, or plan against you becoming clear and then going away. Watch as the traps and nets break and your enemy's plans spread out like smoke. You're not hoping this will happen, you're ordering it by being in alignment with God's will. You will not fear the terror of night or the arrow that flies by day, says verse 5. This is the most important line. Here you need to make sure that there is no fear at all. Not hid fear, but real lack of fear. This is why the 3 days of planning are important. If you're feeling anxious when you say these words, you've just called the fears you're trying to get rid of to you. The call to angels, verse 11. For he will command his angels concerning you, to guard you in all your ways. This verse is a direct call to the forces of heaven, but there is a method that makes it 1,000 times stronger. While reading this verse, name the 4 archangels while facing each direction. Michael in the south stands for divine security, Gabriel in the north for divine strength, Oriel in the east for divine light, and Raphael in the west for divine healing. Imagine that each angel is a tall being of pure light that is standing around you. Then talk to them directly. By the power of the Most High, I tell you to build a wall around me, my home, and my family that no one can break through. No dark force should be able to get through this. Let every attack come back 7 times to the person who sent it. This isn't a request, it's an order from God that has been assigned. These are the last 2 bindings, verses 14 and 15. At the end of the psalm, God makes a promise. Because he loves me, I will save him. I will protect him because he knows my name. He will call out to me and I will answer him. These lines make a promise that both sides will keep. You're not only safe, but you also have direct access to God to ask for him to help you in times of trouble. But the masters use this method. After saying these last lines, be completely silent for 7 minutes. Any spiritual beings that have been listening, and they are always listening, must either give in to the divine power you've called upon or run away from you. They have time to make that choice in the silence. Some practitioners say they feel sudden drops in temperature, hear things they can't explain, or sense presence is leaving during this 7-minute silence. Do not respond out of fear. These signs show that the psalm is working and that you've changed the spiritual environment around you. The daily habit that makes you invincible. For the best protection, the whole process should be followed 40 days in a row. This is the biblical number for change and testing. To do the vision, do it every day. Say things with more confidence and less doubt every day. By day 40, something amazing has happened. The safety lasts forever. You've trained your mind to stay in the frequency of complete divine protection. The power of the psalm is absorbed into your energy field, making a shield that doesn't need to be renewed every day. The word of caution they never stop giving. But listen to this last warning, which was something every wise person said. Power comes duty. You can't use Psalm 91 to protect yourself if you're careless, have bad motives, or hurt other people. The safety ends as soon as you use this gift in a bad way. You open yourself up to exactly what you are most afraid of. This psalm is like a sword. Be careful with it, or it will cut you. Start tonight, and walk like you can't be touched.